here, and third in qualifying is Ben Birchall and Pat Rosney, 115.129. Then it's number 1, Ryan and Callum Crowe, did that 120 mile an hour lap the other day, whatever day that was, 120, they're off at number 1. Then it's number 5, then it's number 6, and then it is number 9. So we're about a minute away from the start of this afternoon qualifying on a is it Sunday, Saturday? I've not a clue. What day is it? It's Sunday. There you go. Sorry, I should have gone to church this morning. Back to the boys in the tower.
We have just over half a minute to go before the start of qualifying 5 for the sidecars. And it is indeed the outfit of number 2, Peter Fownes and Jevon Walmsley, who will get away. Their fastest time so far, 116.6 miles an hour. Pete Fownes and Jevon Walmsley about to launch off in 15 seconds' time. Behind them is number 4, that is Lee Crawford and Scott Hardy. They'll be going at 10 seconds intervals. This is, of course, the second time this week that they start from Glencurchy Road, and they're about to launch themselves towards St Ninians any moment now. There we go. That's the sound of the AWB Engineering Honda DDM. Next away, number 4, Blackstock and Lawrence. Lee Crawford and Scott Hardy, sorry. Number 3 is away next, Ben Birchall and Patrick Rosney. Coming up now is Ryan and Callum Crowe. This is Lewis Blackstock and Oscar Lawrence about to leave the line now. Todd Ellis and Emmanuel Clement. And then it's the number 9 of Gary and Daryl Gibson. Here they go. Let's go back down to Chris Kidley.
Yeah, we got that for number 7 going next. Stephen Matty Ramsden on the LCR Honda. They wheel spin away again at 108. They've done so far 485. Number 10 outfit next. Newcomer driver Steve Kershaw and Rhys Gibbons. They've done 108.31. Number 8 John Saunders, Vicky Cook in the chair. They didn't go as quick on Friday. 104.3 compared to 106.5. They're an outfit 8 and they leave the line now. 11 is next, carrying the ashes of the grandfather of Matthew Rostron. Enjoy your trip, sir. Enjoy your trip around this 37 3/4 mile mountain circuit. If you're looking down on us, and of course, it is Wayne Lockey in the driver's seat. Number 12, George Holden. Mark Wilkes, a lot of experience on the chair there. They're 12th quickest so far at 107.973. The bright orange outfit at 15 goes next. Kieran Clark, that of course is for their Andrew Johnson. They go away, newcomer pairing at 110.337. 14 is next to go on the red, white and blue outfit. And of course the LCR Honda, 9th quickest so far for Robert Dawson and Matt Sims. They're done 107.0 and 108.788. We heard a little bit earlier on from Andy Haynes talking to Beth. He's Greg Lambert, his driver this year on the LCR Honda, 8th quickest so far for Greggy. Oh, Greg, he's off, 109.513. Greg's away. Doesn't do anything by halves, Greggy, does he? Renzo van der Donk and Valet van der Donk on the LCR Suzuki. They're next at 18 at 106.343. Then we go to 16, Dan Knight and Justin Sharp on their DMR, the Kawasaki. 105.940 for the 16 pairing. 19 is next. Mick Donovan, Jake Roberts in the chair. Jakey, of course, on the podium last year with Dave Molyneux. 102.055 for Mick and Jake. 21 is next to go. We heard from them a few minutes ago with Alan Fownes, Vigard Cranenberg and Kevin Koloch. They've done 105.672. That newcomer passenger there. 20 is next to go. Darren Hope, we just spoke to Hopi there. 23 years at the TT this year, give or take. He's missing a few, but it's 23 from 2002. And Lenny Pumphrey, they didn't get a lap in the other day. 101.043. 22 is next to go. James Saunders and Sarah Stoko on the Baker Honda, 104.879. They had a massive jump up from 91, those guys did. 23 is next to go. Alan Thomas and Andrew Sigsworth on their Ireson, the Ireson Honda, at 103.29. Didn't get a lap in on Friday. 24 is next, Bruno Mathern, and there's a Mathid Julie on the LCR Suzuki, the Louis Christian Racing, the Loris Christian Racing, 103.892. They're 20th so far. 26 is next. Gordon Shander, Frank Clays on their CES Suzuki, 102.443 for those guys. 27 to the line, just heard from him. Bruce Moore and Mark Gash, and well done to all the guys putting the hand in the pocket to help them out, to get them out on track on the Baker Yamaha, 102.463. 28 is next, Maria Costello, MBE, and that newcomer passenger, Alice Smith. They're away, did 102.6. 29 is away, Craig Curry and Jason Pitt, 101.738, and they leave the line, and they're away. Number 30 is next, Ross Buchanan, Adam Evans, by gum. You were right, Bounds, he was smiling, he's loving this place. He really is. Ross and Adam, they get away, 101.45, and you lot in the bull end, they're off. 25 is next to go, 25, Stevens Pakalur and Yul Drul Yan on the DRV Yamaha, just shy of the ton, 99.079. Let's hope they can get there this afternoon. Next to go, 31 is next, David Marshall and Luke Gallagher, and their newcomers here, of course, 95.883, done a few rounds there up at Derby over the past couple of years of the boys. I think he lives down in Port Erin now. And 32 is next to go, Eric Lenzer and Anas Rosset, and they leave the line on their DDM Suzuki, 97.841. And the last outfit to go is number 33. We heard from him talking to Beth a little bit earlier on. Jody James in the chair, John Shipley behind the controls. They've done 95.661, and that's the last of the outfits get away. And take a little thing from that. Greg Lambert, Alan Fownes on mic 2, went absolutely off the line like a scalded cat, didn't he?
He always does, doesn't he? Yeah. He likes spinning that wheel. You know, it's great for the spectators. I'm not so sure it's so great for the tyres, but it looks great and it sounds brilliant, doesn't it?
What are we looking for today? Then do you think we're going to see some more sort of personal best done by teams? Your brother's going to try and obviously beat his quickest lap. He's on 116.3.
I think a lot of teams will be trying different things, being the last session that they've got now. If they've not perfected what they've already had, and you know, they'll be trying different gearing, maybe different settings on the maps and things like that. Then I think this will be the last time to Chester, and they want to do that, which is why they'll fuel for 2 laps.
Absolutely. I'm going to try and grab a word if we can. And Richard, we're live on Radio TT around the world, around the circuit, sidecars. How good is that?
Oh, it's absolutely crazy. I love that it happens. I have tried it once as a passenger, and I can't remember, it was many years ago, like 30 years ago. I wore out a brand new pair of boots, is all I remember. It's insanity, but I love to watch it.
All right, I'll let you crack on. Thanks for your time, Richard. Enjoy your island while you're here. Yeah, good stuff. And we better get out of here. Up this way, guys, and out the way. We had his mate here the other year, James May, doing that lap on the Meccano push bike, if I remember rightly, I think it was during Manx Grand Prix. Anyway, my memory's probably fading me. Let's get to the times of the boys in the tower.
We have had a sensational run from Ryan and Callum Crowe, 4 minutes 46.8. A lot faster than anyone on the run to Glen Helen. We'll get Chris to crunch the numbers in a moment. Ben Birchall and Patrick Rosney, 4 minutes 59.7, just a tenth of a second quicker than Lee Crawford and Scott Hardy. Pete Fownes and Jevon Walmsley with a 5 minutes 0.7 seconds as well. So those 3 outfits all within a second or so of one another. Then we go to Lewis Blackstock and Oscar Lawrence, 5 minutes 4.2. Todd Ellis and Emmanuel Clement, 5 minute 10.7, and Gary and Daryl Gibson, 5 minute 11.8. But where does that compare, Chris Boyd, that time from Ryan and Callum Crowe?
It is around about 3.5 seconds down on where they were on Friday's qualifying. Friday afternoon, of course, we had pretty much perfect conditions, and that's when they set the qualifying, the fastest ever qualifying lap that we've seen. They're about 3.5 seconds slower than that, but we did have an extensive list of damp patches on the board for them to see, so they are maybe just taking just that little bit easy and just checking out conditions, and then if they go on for a second lap, we'll see where they are there. We can see, in fact, the Crows now just over Ren Cullen, and they are, in fact, catching the outfit just ahead of them. We saw Pete Fownes was through Douglas Road Corner, there up through Kurt Michael, so it is obviously, that was his Birchall out over Ren Cullen as well. Lewis Blackstock makes his way up through Kurt Michael next. So yeah, it's just a little bit slower than the pace we had from the standing start on Friday, 3.5 seconds or so, but given the conditions, it's just a bit of a sighting lap, really. Go and see what conditions are actually like, and then if they go and do a second lap, take it from there. We can see here on Glencrutchy Road, the trees are certainly blowing around. That wind is going to be an issue as well, and of course the wind might be in a slightly different direction to the way it was the other day. It's more of a westerly this afternoon. It was a south-southwester the other day, so that wind will just affect the sidecars in slightly different ways.
8th quickest into Glen Helen was George Holden and Mark Wilkes, 5 minutes 14.4. 9th fastest Greg Lambert and Andy Haynes with a 5 minute 14.6. So just 0.2 of a second between them. Kieran Clark and Andy Johnson, 10th fastest, 5 minutes 15.2. And just outside the top 10, Steve and Matty Ramsden with a 5 minutes and 19.9 seconds. But already through at Ballaugh Bridge, Ryan and Callum Crowe, and also Pete Founds and Jevon Walmsley, Lee Crawford and Scott Hardy are also through as well. It's really tight between these three, Ben Birchall and Patrick Rosney being the third of those outfits. So Ryan and Callum Crowe, a combined time of 8 minutes 7.1 seconds on the run to Ballaugh from the grandstand. Then we have a 12-second, not a 12-second gap, a 22-second gap between Ryan and Callum Crowe and Pete Founds and Jevon Walmsley. 8 minutes 29.1 for them. 8 minutes 29.7 for Lee Crawford and Scott Hardy. That's a difference of 0.6 of a second. And then Ben Birchall and Patrick Rosney, 8 minutes 30.3, just around half a second slower than Lee Crawford and Scott Hardy. So those three outfits, Chris Boyd, are really going around time-wise almost identical.
They are indeed. This Ryan and Callum Crowe lap, we said sort of 2.5 seconds off the pace of their standing start lap, that the best standing start lap they've done so far. That still is a 1:19.5 type pace that they are on. Looking at the Sulby speed trap, where we've seen all week that Ryan and Callum have a significant speed advantage, and again the case today, 162.3. I think they were just over 163 the other day, 163.1, so they're just a shade down on that. 162.3 miles an hour down Sulby for the Crows. Then Ben Birchall is second quickest of those through Sulby so far, with Patrick Rosney 153.6 miles an hour. So that's 9 miles an hour, almost, well, 8.7 miles per hour slower than Pete Founds, 151.4 mph. Lee Crawford 151.1, and Lewis Blackstock down on 146. So that's a significant speed disadvantage to the Crows. They do seem to have this straight line speed advantage.
Let's tell you who has gone through Ballaugh Bridge and is on their way up towards Ramsey. We have Ryan and Callum Crowe fastest. Then it's Pete Founds and Jevon Walmsley second quickest. Lee Crawford and Scott Hardy third. Fourth is Ben Birchall and Patrick Rosney. Fifth, Lewis Blackstock and Oscar Lawrence. Sixth is Todd Ellis and Emmanuel Clement. Then it's Gary and Darrell Gibson. Then it's George Holden and Mark Wilkes, and they're followed by, on the leaderboard, that is Greg Lambert and Andy Haynes. Then we have Kieran Clark and Andy Johnson. They've gone through Ballaugh Bridge too, along with Steve and Matthew Ramsden. Steve Kershaw and Rhys Gibbons have also gone through, along with John Saunders and Vicky Cook. Rob Dawson and Matt Sims have gone through, and Wayne Lockie and Matt Rostron are the others that have made it so far. That's a complete list of the outfits that have gone from the grandstand all the way through to Ballaugh Bridge. We're still waiting for a few more to make it up, of course, from Glen Helen.
In terms of Pete Founds' kind of pace, it's a 1:15.5 type pace. So the Crows are up on a 1:19.5. Pete Founds is on a 1:15.5.
And Pete Founds' fastest time, or his fastest average speed so far, 116.6. So that's just slightly under, but again, as you said, Chris, conditions were better on Friday than they are here today.
Absolutely, as we see the first two outfits heading up towards the hairpin, and it is Founds and Worms who continue to lead on the road, but the Crows are right in tow with them, right behind them on the run into the hairpin. They both run exactly the same line through the hairpin. But the Crows, there's no little look back there from Jevon Walmsley. You think there might be. The Crows look to go up the inside maybe as they head up towards Waterworks 1, but that would be a brave place to try and overtake, I think.
Yes, especially with all the damp conditions around that part of the TT course. So, but you would expect that Ryan and Callum Crowe will be finding a little gap at some point and make their way through and get ahead of them on the road. So we are now looking at outfits that have made it to Ramsey Hairpin. So along with Ryan and Callum Crowe and Pete Founds and Jevon Walmsley, we have Ben Birchall and Patrick Rosney. And also Lee Crawford and Scott Hardy have made it. And just now, Lewis Blackstock and Oscar Lawrence have gone through at Ramsey Hairpin as well. So combined times, 11 minutes 40.4 seconds for Ryan and Callum Crowe.
As we see the Crows pull out to overtake Founds and Walmsley on the run up towards the 26th. It looks like they've just got through as they go into the 26th, and then on the run up towards the Guthrie from there. So the Crows now lead on the road. They are much quicker on the run lap to Ramsey than they were even on the standing start lap on Friday. So they are now very close to a 120 pace from a standing start here. 119.8 I have them on pace tracker as far as Ramsey from a standing start in conditions that we know are far from perfect.
So that move coming between Joey's and MD's, of course. Let's go back to Ramsey, hairpin, and who's gone through, as I say, Ryan and Callum Crowe, 11 minutes 40.4. Then the second quickest outfit, Pete Fownes and Jevon Walmsley, with 12 minutes 9.6 seconds. Ben Birchall, 12 minutes 10.1. So that's half a second between them. Lee Crawford and Scott Hardy with 12 minutes 10.7, 6/10 of a second slower than Birchall and Rosny into Ramsey. Also through at Ramsey, Lewis Blackstock, Oscar Lawrence, Todd Ellis, Emmanuel Clement. Gary and Daryl Gibson are through Ramsey. Stephen Matthew Ramsden too, along with Steve Kershaw and Rhys Gibbons. And that is the only ones we got so far. We're waiting for the likes of George Holden and Mark Wilkes to make it up from below.
We've just had a replay there of Fownes and Walmsley with the Crows right behind them on the run up through Waterworks just before we picked them up as they were coming into the hairpin. Fownes and Walmsley were right up over the curb on the inside.